What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to JohnnyKpicks. And you know what time it is. I'm gonna go over all my bets that I've placed so far for UFC Vegas 50. Don't forget to hit that like button, make friends with that subscribe button, and make sure you turn on those notifications so you don't miss out on any of my new videos or live streams. So last week's bets for UFC 272 ended up doing really well. I hit 6 out of my 8 bets on the night, winning 6.47 units profit. That makes 3 winning cards in a row, so I'm going to keep the momentum rolling here. But I will say though, this card is a little trickier for betting, but there are some good value spots here. So let's get to my bets for UFC Vegas 50. My first bet is an underdog bet. I have a 1 unit bet on Jackson to win, and I got that at plus 110. So right now, this fight is basically a pick'em right now, and I'm either going to look like a genius for beating the line movement or a fool for picking Jackson. But I really do like Jackson to win this fight. Both guys are really good grapplers, but I will give Jackson the edge on the mat. And on the feet, Kirk does have the power advantage, and Jackson does seem a little bit chinny, but I do think Jackson can use his wrestling and take down Kirk and get this fight to the mat and grind out a decision. Next bet I have is another underdog bet. I have a 1 unit bet on McKinney to win, and I got that at plus 155. So McKinney is taking this fight on short notice, and I'll be real here. I think this is a very winnable fight for him. In his last fight versus Zaim, he didn't take any damage whatsoever, and he barely used any energy just grappling with Zaim for about 2 minutes. And we all know Dober is a beast on the feet, but he does tend to struggle with decent wrestlers, and he has been submitted 4 times. So for me, if McKinney can use his wrestling just like he did in his last fight, I can definitely see him getting a submission win early on. But if this fight does go past the 1.5 rounds mark, it could get a little dicey because McKinney's cardio does tend to fade a bit, but I still like McKinney a lot in this fight. The third bet I have is a 1.5 unit bet on Basharat to win, and I got that at minus 150. So Basharat is one of my most confident picks of the night. I just think he's the better fighter all around. I think he's better on the feet, he's quicker, he's great grappler and wrestler, he has really good submissions. And I know Jones is no slouch, he's a veteran, he has good power in his hands, but I think he's going to be a little overwhelmed in this fight, especially if this fight gets to the mat. And actually, that's how I see this fight happening. I do think Basharat's going to get him to the mat and eventually get a submission late in the first or second round. Next bet I have is a 2-fighter parlay. I bet 1 unit on Basharat and Pereira to win, and I got that at plus 161. So I just went over why I think Basharat's going to win, but I think he's going to be the better fighter. He's going to have the huge advantage on the mat, and I do think he's going to end up getting a submission. And with Pereira, he's going to be the bigger fighter in this matchup, and I do think he's the more technical striker as well. And both these guys can knock out each other. But for me, Silva's only path to victory here is to get Pereira to the mat, and I just don't see that happening. I know he has some decent grappling, but he doesn't really use it. He's mainly just a striker. And I was pretty impressed with Pereira's takedown defense in his last fight. So I do think Pereira can keep the fight standing and eventually get the knockout in the first or second round. And my last bet of the night is a 3-fighter parlay. I bet 1.25 units on Yusuf Yasong Ankalaev to win, and I got that at plus 128. So with Yusuf, I do think he's going to be the better and the more powerful striker in this matchup. But Caceres is a very crafty veteran. He's a little bit unorthodox as well with his striking. So it might take Yusuf a little bit of time for him to get his reads on him and to figure him out a bit. But I do see him taking over in the second and third rounds and either get a late finish or a decision win. And with Yasong, if he can survive the first round, he's golden. Marias is very dangerous in the first round, and he's a really good striker with crazy kicks, but he has 0 chins left. And not to mention, if it goes later than 1 round, he's gonna lose. So I do think Song Yadong can survive the first round and potentially even get a knockout in the first round. But if he doesn't get the knockout in the first round, he's definitely going to get a knockout in the second or third round. And with Ankalaev, no surprise here. I know he's a big favorite, but he should win this fight. But I will say though, Santos is still dangerous, and I know he's 38 years old and he's getting a little up there in age, but his kicks are still good. He doesn't use them as much as he did before, but he's still a very dangerous striker. But I just think Ankalaev's going to be a step or 2 ahead of him. And this fight may play out a little bit closer than the line says, but I do think Ankalaev should win by a late finish or decision. Alright guys, so those are my bets for UFC Vegas 50. Thank you everybody for watching. Be sure to check back in the comment section on this video, Twitter or Instagram for any added bets that I make throughout the week. Good luck to everybody and the bets they make, and until next time, happy fight night.